Self-employed estate agency in the UK versus the world. Today I'm joined by Jason Bull, who is an estate agency guru. He has had dealings with a number of people in the self-employed space, and he does actually help estate agency bosses convert their employed agencies to self-employed. That's part of his remit in his role. So talk to me about UK versus the rest of the world in specifically on self-employed estate agency. Talk to me.
Okay, so we are behind the times actually in the UK. Although we've seen some change in it in the last 5 years or so, and there's a couple of operators that really are sort of like leading the field in this at the minute. As an industry, we're behind the curve. And I've had my eyes really open to this in my time working with a major French company that have got a brilliant footprint across Europe, 20,000 agents, turning over 500 million, highly profitable. I think what I've done is I've seen the mature version of self-employed estate agency, what it looks like. I think we get some of the elements in the UK, but the things like collaboration is so much better on the continent that we see here in the UK. And that's something we can massively learn from.
A lot of people say it's because the fees are much lower in the UK, or is that just bunkum?
Now, do you know what? In terms of the agents take a much higher fee in percentage terms across Europe. So anywhere between 3 and 7% is pretty common. So I get more bang for the buck. I deal with less transactions. My relationship with the customer is far more relationship driven. These are like almost end up friendships that endure afterwards. The agents will take limited stock numbers. So, I've got capacity for 10 transactions and I've currently got 10 going through, so I've got no more room at the inn. And because they're really good at the relationship side of it, there's an element that the customer will say, well, I'll tell you what, I'll wait for a couple of months when you're ready because I actually want you to sell my house. I think we're seeing signs of that evolution starting in the UK, but when it gathers pace and it really kicks up, that's when I think we'll start seeing some of the self-employed agents really earning handsome livings from this.
You said you used to work for that very famous French self-employed model.
Yep.
There's a couple that have come over from America, one of which is particularly, they're the biggest. Quite frankly, I have my own opinions on which one you should go for, which we'll come on to in a second. But what do you think is holding people back going into self-employed estate agency itself in the UK?
I don't think it's the confidence to do the job. I think there's a lot of people that have got this belief that actually I could do it. There is a fear factor, but actually the biggest single thing that I've
Fear of
found,
what?
fear of earnings. So if you think about it, if I give up an employed role today and I become self-employed, statistics say that I'm not going to see my first piece of real income 6 months if I'm lucky, probably more likely 9 months. Now, if you're a family, you've got a mortgage, a couple of kids to support, how on earth do you do that? Unless you've got a real big swathe of savings. I saw a report the other day saying that, I can't think the actual percentage times, but it was shocking of how many people had less than £1,000 in savings. You think you've got to support yourself for 6 to 9 months with £1,000 savings. If you're then going to do, I'm going to do an Amazon job, I'm going to do a bit of Uber delivering on the side. I absolutely applaud someone that does that. But again, does that actually start shaking your belief? Why have I done this? What have I put myself and my family through? You've got mental stress that comes with it. You've got financial stress. And if we can conquer that in the UK, and that comes back to processes, actually speeding up house transactions, all of those kind of things. Until we solve that, I think we've still got a similar problem that's going to sit here. Okay, so I've given you my view. I'd love to hear yours. You encounter a lot of people in this space potentially thinking about it, so I'd love to hear your viewpoint.
Apart from the financial thing, I think a lot of people are scared to look stupid in front of their friends if in case they fail.
How much percentage-wise do you think that plays a part in it?
I think it's massive.
What's the old ego? If I fail, what will people think?
I think any age. None of us want to look stupid, do we?
No, do you know what? I mean,
It's like doing video. People won't do video because they don't want to look. They don't want the trolls or people to say, "Ha ha."
do you know what I say to people on that? Though, actually think about video, social media, etc. It's so fast moving. If it was rubbished, 5 minutes later, it's forgotten. And that's been my whole viewpoint on
It's
it.
easy for you to say, but you're not the one that's getting trolled.
Oh, Chris, I have, I'm a real player on LinkedIn in particular. I've got my own beliefs. I've got my own things. I put a post up recently about Bourbon biscuits, the Marks and Spencers, two versions. Once,
I
once
love the ones. I love the custard cream eggs with the chocolate on them. I mean,
they are
they're 50p a
exceptional.
biscuit, aren't they? I
Yeah,
mean, and they're cheap as hell because if you had them, please. If you haven't, you got to try it.
yeah. Honestly, no commission being paid by Marks and Spencers on this. But I had trolley type comments on that saying people saying, "Why would you make comparisons? They're not the same." And you
Yeah,
do
because
one or two things.
I posted. I got a lot of trolls. I love them. Why are estate agents the only profession that posts that they've done their job? It's a bit like someone at a Big Mac saying, "I've just sold a Big Mac."
Exactly.
Oh, it's
And the
like
postman, I've just delivered some letters today. You wouldn't do it, would you? But again, I think it goes back to having
ego.
a clear content strategy, actually knowing that this is what I'm going to post. There's going to be variety, a mixture of it. Some's going to land really well. And it's not all about the metric of likes, shares, and comments. Actually, it's just the consistency of turning up, doing the stuff that
I'm
actually, you're probably a great advocate for that.
massive. But let's bring it back to estate agency and failing because that's what their people are afraid of. How do you get over that fear?
I think it'll always sit there, Chris. The fear of failure sometimes is a real strong motivator. The fear of not being able to do it pushes you hard. It can do one of two things. If you're a certain character, it'll either cripple you or it will actually be rocket fuel that will make you ultra determined to go and do something. And like I said, not every character is going to be the same, but actually a fear of failure in some ways is healthy.
Okay, so you've told me, if you were setting up an estate agency today, which elements from which self-employed models would you take? And because your EXPs and your Keller Williams have come over saying, yeah, it's all British, but there's an element of not hangover is the wrong word, but the American model. You got the IAD model, which is French. What would you do? If you were setting up your own self-employed estate
I
agency,
think
want
you've
to
got to
know.
give a huge amount of credit to EXP and Adam in particular, because I think what he's done is he's taken something that was very American and he's anglicised it. If you didn't know EXP hailed from America, the language it is using, the phrases, the terminology, how it goes about its business, actually it feels like an English company. I think that's a really good, think about a country that is an island. We've told Europe we don't like them, we don't want to be part of you, we're different. All of a sudden, if you start imposing, we're going to do a continental or we're going to do something the American way with different language, whether we realise it or not, our hackles rise, we kick against it. So I think it's got to feel very, very anglicised, fitting the market, fitting the customs of where you're operating.
Do you think that their recruitment strategy, the fact is that the people are paid to bring people in?
I struggle with that a little bit, and I think it can. The whole concept of MLM, bit pyramidal, schemy looking and feeling,
Explain what MLM is to the people at home.
multi-level marketing. So effectively, my job is the job of selling a house. That's only one part of it. The other part of my job is actually to recruit other people into the industry. What I particularly admire EXP for doing was actually being brave and saying, unless you've got 2 years experience, you don't come into our industry. The failure rate of people coming in with no industry experience is incredibly high. So I think people that perhaps cock a snoot to that and say, actually, you don't need any experience. I'm not sure whether or not they're being
Okay, but come
completely
back to the
fair.
question I asked you: is their recruitment strategy
So the recruitment strategy,
in terms of someone sponsoring
yeah,
someone else gets a share of your money? It's not coming out your pocket because it was always going to leave your pocket.
they only get paid on success though, because otherwise, if they just get paid by numbers joining, that is illegal. It's Ponzi scheme. Um, so if I'm going to only earn residue and income off of your productivity, as opposed to just throwing lots of mud at the wall and hoping some of it sticks, surely you've got to start thinking about, right, what's the chances of this person succeeding? How much of my time, energy, and effort and expertise are they going to need? And making that balanced decision. If the answer is they're going to need a high degree of support, I haven't got the time to give, I'm not convinced that they've got the skill sets that are required, then don't recruit them, because actually you're not being fair to yourself or the individual. So you've had lots of people on this sofa. You've been around the industry for many years. You've seen the good, the bad, the different, and everything in between. So I'd love to hear your take on that.
I've got no issue with agents recruiting other agents. It's not a pyramid scheme. I'm not a huge fan of people who are poor estate agents becoming recruiters.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of the way some, not all, go about recruitment, because they actually see it as a recruitment, when in reality there's the people, there's some fantastic guys in the EXP network who attract people to them and do it in a really well, really good. You got the guys in London, you've got Adam Mackay in Hertfordshire. um you know yeah, they do that, and Ben Moore,
Mm.
and Claire Hughes do it while they come into my
Yeah.
sphere of influence. This is what I will do for you to be your sponsor, not it's changed my life. Look at how much I'm earning. Come and join me.
Do you know, I think they've done really well, Chris? You've hit the nail on the head there. It's they've made it an emotional decision that actually, I want you in my world. I'm prepared to give something to you. And I think that's a really important consideration that you've just nailed there.
There are other self-employed models out there who are missing an opportunity. There's a number of exceptions. I will just, apart from the ones I've mentioned, who I'm a big fan of. I think what Avocado are doing is exceptional, and the type of person that's attracted to them is a particular individual. But I love what Ian and Mike are doing there, backed up with Cindy and marketing and all everyone else. That's exceptional. What they do for their agents is amazing. I'm a huge fan of TA UK,
Yeah.
with what Steph's doing, and Chris Buckler and everyone else in the team there, to what they're doing, and they're led by some great people as well, with like Kenny and Andrew. And some are a bit more ballsy about it. Some keep their things. But I'm a massive fan of self-employed estate agency. It's the right thing for the right people, and you've got to go in with your eyes open. And if you're a self-employed estate agent, or want to be a self-employed estate agent, the biggest people, because everyone rings me up because I don't get paid.
Yeah, you've got no skin in the game.
No. And I say, well, who should I choose? And I always say this, that 80% of your decision is based on the relationship you have with your brokerage.
Yeah.
And if you nail that, you're going to win. Yeah. Jason, thank you for your time today.
Absolute privilege. Cheers, Chris.